Have you been thinking about getting a day gecko? Well, in this video, we're going to be going over all the basic care guidelines that you should go by to take care of one. So check it out. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm host Wade from Host Wade's Exotics, and on this channel we like to make videos about reptiles and amphibians and how to take care of them, just like this video today. So jumping right into it, today we're going to be talking about the day gecko. So first off, let's learn a little bit of background information about the day gecko. The Madagascar giant day gecko is a bright green gecko, and it has red mottling going down the top of his body from the top of his nose all the way down his back. And these guys are native to eastern Madagascar, but populations have been introduced to the oceanic islands surrounding Madagascar, as well as Hawaii and the Florida Keys. And another interesting fact is that day geckos are one of the few diurnal geckos. So moving on, the day gecko is also an arboreal species of gecko as well. And while these geckos can tame down to be hand-fed, they're also very skittish as well. So for the very first thing that we're going to talk about for the care aspect is caging. So due to their large size, with them being one of the larger species of gecko actually in the world, these guys are going to need a rather large enclosure. So primarily I would use something like an 18 by 18 by 24, which should be pretty large enough to actually house an adult pair of day geckos. And since we mentioned talking about a pair of day geckos, you should never house two males together because they're highly territorial creatures. So moving on to substrate, what I would recommend using for the actual day gecko is putting these guys in a bioactive setup. The reason why I say to use a bioactive setup because this will give the gecko places to hide and give them places to forage around for other things like that, and also retain moisture. And as an arboreal species, these guys will also enjoy a terrarium filled with cork bark, logs, and other large items like that, so that way they can crawl on. So moving on to temperatures and lighting. So giant day geckos can be kept at around an ambient temperature of 75 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. This is pretty easy to maintain due to the fact that your normal house temperatures generally range from around 70 to 75 degrees normally. And also I would include a basking area of around 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit for these guys using a actual UVB light. Also, all the things mentioned in today's video will have links down in the description, so that way you guys can go check those out for yourself and go pick some up for your day gecko. UVB is going to be very important for the day geckos since they're a diurnal species of gecko and they actually do come out and bask and enjoy that natural sunlight. So it's best to try to provide them with a natural habitat as possible. And this also helps aid in plant growth with your plants in your terrarium in your bioactive setup. Moving on to humidity. So your ambient humidity for this particular species of gecko should be around 60 to 70%. Also, I would like to add, if I missed out any information in this video, make sure you drop that comment down below so that way we can add it in to the future video. So with humidity, as you can see from my terrarium here, I'm using the Reptifogger by ZooMed that I bought a little while ago, and this pretty much keeps my humidity around the 60-70% range. I monitor this with an actual humidity gauge that I put in there and take in and out from time to time just to make sure everything's right. And also misting is highly recommended for this species due to the fact that they normally don't drink out of a water bowl and they drink more readily off of the glass of your terrarium and off of leaves and other things actually in your terrarium. So moving on to diet. So in the wild, day geckos are omnivores. So that means these guys eat fruit and also insects. So in captivity, a staple diet of crickets and also crested gecko food is what I normally use as a supplement to go along with that, will keep them healthily fed in captivity. And this gecko food is actually good for a whole bunch of different species of actual geckos, like your crested geckos, any of your day geckos, and anoles and other fruit-eating geckos. Also, you can pick up your feeder insects from any of your local pet stores and or fishing places, and you can pick up some feeder crickets as well. So in addition to the feeder insects, I would also recommend you use a reptile supplement like Reptivite. Reptivite is going to have your calcium and your vitamin D and other things like that that your reptiles are going to need for the ones that live in captivity to help aid in that natural sunlight and other things that they don't get being in captivity. I definitely hope this video helped you out if you think about getting a day gecko and in your husbandry with this particular species. So as I mentioned earlier, is there anything else I can add on to this video? Make sure you tell me down in the comments, and thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next video.